Jai Satchidanand to all. Thank you for that introduction. And Peter, we really enjoyed your presentation. One thing came to my mind, and I will address that when we talked about the instinct and the intuitiveness. And immediately something came to my mind and said, okay, instinct comes from the heart. And the intuitiveness that comes from the mind. That just came to me. Right or wrong, I don't know, but that's how I connected to those two words. And I didn't have time to, but this just came. Anyway, we have our first slide here. Parth has given my introduction to all of you. He said, I'm a chemical engineer. I practice as a project manager. I received this beautiful introduction of holistic living from the two masters, and the instruments in there was Vijay Patel, and his instrument for him was Parthiban and Dinesh Bhai Patel. So now we have a family tree. That's how I explain myself, that we have a family tree. So, and someday we will have this tree grow and everybody will say, oh, the original person who did this was this, So now let me have my family tree, So, and we have this family tree for our last names and father and mother and all that. But this is also, to me, is a family. Can we get to the next slide, please? There's a lot of things to talk about. I have 15 minutes and I don't think I can finish everything what I need to say in 15 minutes, but that's okay. First is, before I came to know about this holistic science, there were always conflicts in the life. The worst part was, I didn't think of it as a conflict. I thought of it as a way of life. Everybody lives life this way, so nothing's wrong in it, And didn't even pinpoint it as a conflict until I came to the right understanding of what my thinking is and what the thinking should be, and why am I going through these agonies and pain in my life, and is it really that's the way the life should be? So I started thinking about it. Once I met the scientists and the profound impact that I had meeting Sri Dada Bhagwan and then Karudadaji, both preached about how to be happy in life. Everybody is seeking happiness in life. We all seek happiness. I used to seek happiness and I didn't know anything better, so I was always looking for happiness from outside. Acquiring things was the happiness, And then this sentence comes from this holistic scientist. He said, is it true, really? Anything in this world outside of you has any quality of happiness that you can get from it? All the worldly material things that you're trying to achieve, show me one that has a quality of happiness in it. And I started thinking, and I said, no, really not. It's my expectation of receiving it and then feeling good about it, and I called it happiness. But the same very thing, when it didn't work, became the cause of my grief. So, this, as I said, it's going to be very difficult for me to finish, but this holistic science gave me the goal in life, which I didn't have before. I was just living my life, everybody lives their life and they go through the life, they go to school, they get married, they have kids, you go out and work and you earn money, and that's life, I never thought of life, as Peter said, what is life? Life is me. Life is not outside, or the way you live. So I started thinking, all these things are happening. So why things are happening to me adverse to what I want things to do for me? And then the answer came from these holistic scientists. It said, hey, there are two things working here. One is the outside forces, and the second is inside. Outside forces, you merely have no control over it. But the inside, which they identified as your understanding, that has a profound effect. So all the outsides are temporary things, if you can imagine that, or you can experience it, that they come and go. Nothing stays for permanent. But this state of understanding, once you achieve it, it stays with you. And that's what I call experience. And as more and more you practice that, the principles of this holistic science, more and more you benefit from it than anything else. So now, in true sense, they made me selfish. That now I'm working for my own happiness. It has nothing to do with others. It's just, they are mere instrument in getting me what I had provided before, what I had done before. So with that simple understanding of, and I had struggled with it. So I started practicing that, okay, whatever I'm getting through these instruments in the world that I come in contact with is nothing but my own deeds of past. I knew karma's theory, but never understood it right. And this thinking, this teaching of holistic scientists made me learn what it is, why it is coming to me this way. I am there in the same situation with others. Why am I having a different type of effects on me than everybody else around me? All those questions arise now, which wasn't there before. Because I was just me, and I was governed by this one big enemy in me, was the ego. Because I was trying to satisfy ego and not myself. So that's where all these problems were arising. And the second sentence here is very important. That what is the main principle of this holistic science living? And it says, okay, you can't help others with your mind, speech and body, that's fine. But please don't hurt anyone. That's the biggest thing I have received from the holistic science approach. And how can you do this? Dada Bhagwan said, Kanu Dadaji says, that learn living of life from the tree. A fruit tree. Look at the fruit tree, how that tree lives its life. And you will know how you should be living your life. And I started thinking, then there was an explanation that the fruit tree really provides the fruit. It has its own fruit, doesn't eat one of it, gives it out to others. When there is hot sun outside, it provides the shelter, it provides people comfort. Even when it dies, How many uses are there from that wood? So what does the tree do in its own life? Never took advantage of any of the qualities it had, but it used for the others. And that's exactly what I learned from this holistic science. Going into this third slide, there are a lot of things that, and I've listed few that I could think of, and I'm sure there are a lot more that if I can ask you guys how you have learned. His first thing was looking at the faults. There was always an outward vision. I am perfect. There is nothing wrong with me. It's the people that I meet, people that I deal with, they have problems. And that was one of the biggest agony and pain I was going through in my life, and I did not even pinpoint it until this holistic vision came about and told me that, hey, you are full of faults, not others. And as soon as I started practicing that really opened up a lot of vision within me and the happiness that I was seeking for. There are a lot of other things, and you will see the repetitions of it. The process is slow. I take that, because you have to get rid of these other beliefs and other opinions that you have about life, and now getting into this new one. So you get and enter into this kindergarten, and the holistic scientist is kind of trying to teach you, So what we are doing today is, probably we are talking about my level, which I am in kindergarten state. So I'm only talking about few things that I've benefited from, which has made life very simple, beautiful, enjoyable, and happy. And not only for me, but I think my family is also enjoying the same thing. Before I got this holistic vision, understanding, my life was, my family was a mess, complete mess. Didn't know how to handle things. I tried to converse with my kids. Minute later, we are fighting. I said, wow, what is happening here, This I started thinking after I had the holistic science vision. But before that, we were just going back and forth. You guys can imagine that. And then the vision comes around. And I said, okay, start looking at your own fault. The other party is not at fault. Karma's theory tells me you are getting what you had given. Why am I looking at faults in others? He's merely an instrument, or she's really an instrument giving me back what I had given. So why am I faulting others? So I started applying that on myself. And the minute I started doing that, the others, before what was happening is my ego was clashing with them. Now that ego clashing portion was disappearing, slowly but surely. And I wouldn't say that it started working from day one. It was working from day one, but I didn't see the effect of it on day one. It took me 10 years to go through practicing this vision that I had acquired. And my relationship with my family, my kids, turned 180 degrees around. The kids who didn't want to talk to me, now they started saying, someday I will become like you. So this is to me that was the ultimate in my life, that I was able to make an impact on my family. And all along, I was being a recipient of the happiness from within. Outside is not in my control. Nature does that for me. Circumstances come around and we come to one of these holistic vision ideas, and here it says, who is the doer? And that part, how am I doing with the time?
Yeah.
1 minute?
5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes, okay, good. So that was another thing. Who is the real doer in this life? Who is doing things? We always think he's doing it, she's doing it, they are doing it. And this holistic vision started clarifying that for me and said, no, the doer is the scientific circumstantial evidences. So many evidences has to come together for one thing to happen. Nobody in this life is a doer. It's your perception that the other person is doing it, but that's not really true. Tell me one person in this world who really wants to be unhappy. Who wants to be unhappy in this life? Even the little ant going onto this floor. What happens when you try to touch that ant? Doesn't like those obstacles, you know? And we don't like it either. But then I started thinking, why am I becoming an obstacle for others? So what do I need to do to get over that part? So I started applying holistic science principles. Each and every aspect of my life became so clear once I started applying these principles. And not only that, I gained from that as my inner happiness, but the people around me started feeling comfortable. They wanted to be with me. They wanted to talk to me. Before, forget about him. Hey, put him aside, you know. Don't invite him to this party. Now people wanted to talk to me. They wanted to understand, hey, what happened to you? So this is, I call my life transformation. Knowing the principle of holistic vision. We go to the next slide, please. Peter also said it, Shailesh Anandji always talks about this and said, look at yourself. When are you happy? When are you happy? By doing things, are you happy? And when you start looking in that, you realize, no, just thinking about giving happiness to someone else, you become the first recipient of that happiness. And Shailesh Anandji puts it very nicely, that I want to celebrate my son's birthday. Just the thought comes in the mind. You haven't done anything, you haven't invited anyone, you haven't planned for it. But what happens within? Just that thought arises. And what happens? You start feeling good. So he said the principle works. This is the principle. You just merely think of giving happiness and you'll be happy. You don't even have to do anything and you are happy. But it also works the other way. You want to take care of someone. Say, okay, I'm going to show him what this means. What he understands in his mind, you know. I'll take care of him. So who's the first recipient of that grief? Who gets disturbed first?
Yourself.
Of course you get disturbed first. Unless you are disturbed, you can't disturb anybody else. That's the principle I also learned. So why do I want to disturb myself and be unhappy when my mission is to be happy? So these are the things that I started thinking, and like Swami Deepakanandji, they all started teaching us, okay, here are the things that you can do to be happy and make others happy around you. I think I will probably stop here because the time is up, and Deepakanand will get into this little more. I think he will. And one thing came, and I'll just share that to you, as to the young people especially, that the outside is a computer, but inside is the creator of the computer. And I started thinking about it. Computer can do everything, but computer can't create itself. So you are the creator, you are the sustainer, and you are the destroyer. You are everything. So whatever you want, it's you, and you. And that's what I've learned from the holistic science. And the best way you can apply this science for yourself, one word of caution: this knowledge applies only to yourself. Do not try to apply this knowledge on others. Because the very thing you want to do, not to see faults in others, you will start doing that. So here I stop my presentation, and I thank the holistic scientist who has come in my life and give me this vision. Thank you guys.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have our next guest speaker. This is Swami Deepak Anandji. He came from India. He's going to do a brief introduction before he comes on stage. Swami Deepak Anandji has a degree in Bachelor's of Electrical Engineering and has worked 10 years in petrochemical turnkey projects. From early in childhood, he wanted to be different from others, and he had an inclination towards being a celibate. He was very religious, and he just met a simple householder by the name of A.M. Patel, a contractor by profession. And His Holiness Sri A.M. Patel had enlightenment at that time, in 1958. And he was self-realized and a fully experienced holistic scientist. Swami Deepak Anandji's unanswered questions on scriptures were easily answered in very simple and practical scientific ways that his determination, excuse me, a little hard of a word to say, determination, I was determined to finish that word, by the way, of celibacy got firmed up. He was blessed with self-realization in 1983, and then he immediately decided to pursue his dream to work for the selfless mission to introduce this holistic science for the inner betterment of all humankind. Since 1993, he has devoted his full life study to the holistic science and to visit villages and cities in India, USA, the UK, Canada, Europe, Africa, Australia, and New Zealand to answer questions on life science and scientific way of attaining happiness. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Swami Deepak Anandji.
Are you ready?
Yep. Face like face like.
It's the file right now. Thank you, Pat, for such a generous introduction and very detailed introduction. It seems like I'll have to prove that now. Next, please. We will try to understand what is the scenario now, what is the situation now, and how will this holistic science help us, next please, help us come out of this disturbance or this situation. Next please. My topic is new vision, new world. So it's like when my vision changes, my world changes. So what does this really vision mean? It relates to seeing, perceiving. There is also a good saying, it goes like this: as you see, so you learn. So seeing is of primary importance, how we see and what we see. One of the wonderful meaning of vision is the mystical experience of seeing something that is not in fact present to the eye. So I look at you, it's not visible by my eyes, through my eyes, but still I see. That's where the vision works. And it is considered supernatural. So all these holistic scientists are supernatural people. They did not have any kind of discrimination whatsoever. They could see themselves in everyone. And unfortunately, I can see myself only in me. And if I want to see myself, I have to go to a mirror and see myself. Isn't that a tragedy? Yeah, and we're talking about loving ourselves, loving our neighbor, loving everyone, seeing ourselves in everyone, but without that vision, not with the one which these ophthalmologists fix our eyes, but it is that inner vision which is the third eye, the eye of divinity, that needs to be opened. And if that vision opens, our world changes forever. And world, we know that it is the universe and where we are born. And it just flows, it just goes. Here we will be talking about the inner world. So it's like if I, as Deepak Anand, I am not there, where is my world? Where is the world for me? So truly, as it is revealed by the holistic scientists, the world is me. And whatever or whoever I come across is my world. So if I know, understand, and experience this world, I can experience, understand, and deal with the outside world. So everything begins from me. As it is said, the world outside is a mere reflection of the world inside. But do I see the world outside as my reflection? This is a wonderful holistic revelation that the world outside is the reflection of the world inside. Next please. Now we want to understand the present scenario. Everyone have enough money, enough resources, academic, monetary, relational, family-wise, and there are so many means of materialist happiness outside, but still don't we experience emptiness inside. I feel you'll be very candid enough and open enough to express yourself. Because then it will be wonderful. I'll be just talking, and you'll be listening. We have gone to moon. We want to fathom Mars. But look at our life. Is there any consistency that we see around in our family relations? No. Where is the problem? So you say, I am the biggest problem. And if I solve this problem, there is no problem outside. I am bound with a responsibility, whether I fulfill the responsibility or whether I cut corners. No one knows, only I who know where I cut corners. And so what I need is, I be very candid enough with myself. What Peter talked about morality. It is wonderful. So I need to be sincere with myself first. So how I handle people around. When I say I talk of divinity, I should rather live that divinity. So the talking will not help unless I live. And all those great people who, someone talked, I think so, talked about Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, Jesus Christ, and all. They lived their life with total humility, with total holism, oneness. So, with the cutthroat competition, and let's just think about it, where do we not find business? Business means I want to extract something out of every situation. I want to gain myself, earn myself. And there is a wonderful saying that goes, you cannot pass truth if you are going to charge. This needs a lot of thinking. But we will see another revelation over here. Business, life is a business. Rather, business is our life. And that ought to be based on sound vision, understanding of religion, of ethics. Then only religion will be free from business. So unless business is dealt in an ethical way, you cannot free spirituality which is going to support us, which is going to open that divinity within us, free from business. So it is of vital importance how we live our life. Next please. We are born as humans. Is it an invaluable asset? Do we consider that as an invaluable asset? And if we understand the importance of our life as humans, how will I be living? And we already talked about the evidence of materialistic happiness. I'm not happy, I'm not satisfied inside. Two major problems, and they have found out that the pharmacology, the pharmacy, they earn their living major on cancer medicine and psychiatry, psychological medicines. More than 80%. More than 80%. And the cause of cancer, the doctors know very well, primarily it is food and the stuff we use. It is all carcinogenic. So we need to be very wise and thoughtful about what we eat and what we use. That's how our holistic health, meaning health in totality, physical, mental, psychological, emotional and spiritual. all these phases, all these aspects, if they are not covered, it's like I'm 100% healthy when all my body parts are working perfectly. But if they are not, I'm done. So here lies that understanding that we need to live with. This holistic inner science, it offers us with that vision, that understanding, the belief with which what we are living, it is not helping us live amicably with our own self, with our family, with our friends, at work, at business, and in general with people around. So I need to have that vision, that understanding. And once I have that understanding, not in words, but as a live example, and only then I will learn and I will live that holistic way of life. So, and that will definitely open my inner peace, and definitely my interactional, there will be a lot of harmony in my outside interaction also. Can you, next please. Something gets cut in the bottom, I think.
Some slides only. The slides are big.
Here we will like to highlight a very important aspect. We humans play a vital role in the nature. We can see around, does any plant or animal or insect create any disturbance in the nature? No. Why only few knots like this? I think others are also thinking. What do you think? These plants, animals, insects, do they create trouble in the nature? Do they create an imbalance in the nature? And how much do we humans create all those imbalances?
All of them.
See. So this is where the holistic scientist has revealed so many things, and even if we take one by one all those things, it will change our life. So if we live responsibly as humans, then it will definitely reflect in the nature. All this El Nino effect and all those things are nothing but man-made things created by man. Those disturbances, just imagine the nuclear waste, the chemical waste, all those waste, how are they going to affect? And the biggest waste is our thinking. Whatever we think, where does it go? We are sending those vibrations. We are much worried about the microwave signals of our cell phone, that it has so many negative effects on our body and all that. There are so many people who have been working in the cell phone company, and they have come across cancer. Many have died. There are so many videos on YouTube which we can see. But the vibrations which are created and emitted by our mind, who knows that? We only know. We are living in the house, in the family, and we have those thoughts for one another. And we say we are one family. Isn't that a big question mark? So we have to be careful, watchful, but that will happen only when that vision opens. That is further. And what is more important is one. What is more important that we have that holistic science, the living holistic scientist among us, who has revealed all these facts of life and nature, and by understanding all those, we will be able to live our life with that humility, with that understanding, and that will definitely open our experience of oneness. Here I'll be just scanning through some of the holistic inner visions, understanding that it is always the sufferer who is at fault. We see and blame the one who make me suffer at fault. Do you agree with that? Normally, if I suffer because of someone, I don't see myself at fault, but I see the other guy who is making me suffer at fault. And here the holistic revelation says, if I am suffering, I got to be at fault. Because the other person is just a delivery person. He's not the doer. Yeah, I'm looking for that. It was. Okay.
No.
Sorry for that.
તમારું
No, તમારું નથી.
That's his.
It's not mine.
bottom.
Thank you.
એમાં શું ફરક
Sorry.
એમાં શું ફરક
You ask doctors. Doctors tell us several things. They don't even want us to touch several things. So, drinking, so you just try to avoid if you can. Okay. Adjust everywhere. When I should have that inner decision that I want to adjust. They say that the world will not change for me, but I can change. So if I change, the world will be different for me. So don't expect the world to change for you. You be prepared that I want to adjust, I want to change. I am open to any kind of change for my safety, for my health, for my peace, for my bliss. So if that is there within me, someone may say, why every time I have to adjust? Why the other person, is it not his or her responsibility to adjust? No. If you want to get, you start giving. So if you learn to give, you will get abundantly. So this is the process, this is the method with which we can get. And that is how we get. So by giving, we are improving our examination and we will get the results naturally. Whatever happened is just. In the sense, after anything happens, don't argue, don't fight, just accept what it is. And whatever is needed to rectify that, keep doing. It's like a glass of water made of glass just slips from my hand and drops and it breaks. The immediate reaction would be, you broke it. I said, I all the way tried to save the glass, but still it broke. So okay, whatever is there on my account, charge on my account. But inside, I know that I tried till the end so that it don't drop, it don't break. Same way it is applicable to others. But what we blame or claim, we immediately say, oh, you broke it. It doesn't matter, outside you have to say at times, but inside what will be your understanding? Because we will recollect things of years together. 15 years back, you dropped my stuff and you broke it. That was the only thing I had from my mother or so and so. This is what. And if it breaks by me, I say, I'm so sorry for it. That's it. That's it. I don't punish myself, I don't recollect, I just feel sorry for it. So, one more thing, what Peter said, learn to forgive. So, that is there, but when we know the signs of happening, then we won't have any problem. We will be willing to forgive anyone, any moment, anytime. You are wholly responsible for yourself. Happiness lies in giving, not in taking. Give happiness and you will get happiness. Normal and natural living needs to be understood. Only when we know what is normal way of living, then only we will be happy, we will be healthy. We will see those things in detail in the second session. Next please. How much time? Oh. new vision creates new world. So as we talked previously, vision means belief, understanding. New vision relates to new and right understanding. Our understanding should keep updating. You know, all these people with this virus protection, they always keep giving updates. Microsoft, after so many years of research, we keep getting updates. We are not fed up of those updates. But our understanding, we want to stick on to that understanding. Now, as the time passes, we have to learn and come out of those dogmas. I will say that as dogmas because it is hampering my progress, it is creating obstacles in my life, dealing with people. So that is where we should be open to changes. And when those changes are right, we should be willing to accept that. Right understanding leads to right behavior. See, all those rituals in all these different religions or whatever people do, you don't need to change them. But the moment your understanding changes, you will be able to accept those rituals willingly, happily, and it won't hurt you. You will be very humble enough to accept any ritual. Rituals are part of everybody's life because the way they are born in that family, they will definitely learn those rituals, learn those traditions. But when we have the right vision, right understanding behind those traditions and rituals, you won't have any problem following it. So when you don't have any problem following those rituals, you won't have any difference. You will be able to establish that oneness with everyone. Okay, next please. Okay. It is in continuation with that. New shaping, life nurturing and systematic training is possible through this holistic inner science. We want to highlight that how the holistic inner science with the new vision that it provides will change your world. So we talk of unity in diversity, we talk of oneness in this many different appearance. We need to see singularity in this plurality. It won't be, we won't be just talking, we will be experiencing that silence in chaos. Can we think of that? We experience silence in the worst of the chaos. That is where the holistic science works. So we need to go very deep into it, but it's not all that any physical effort. What you need is right understanding only. Previously unknown, unheard, such is this holistic inner science, which is so very useful in our day-to-day living, primarily for humankind and effectively for the entire nature, to bring back that pristine eco-balance of the nature in its entirety. We are talking about completeness. Holistic means complete. And when an individual becomes complete, wherever he goes, he will make that place, make that city, make that country, make that world, make that universe complete. So one strong Jesus Christ, one strong Lord Krishna, one strong Lord Mahavira, they came at different times, but they had this same unifying vision, and see how they changed the world. We still remember that. And that is where the divinity or beauty lies there. Finally, leading to total freedom. It's like, do we experience bondage now? Are we bound by our body? Are we bound by our family? Are we bound by our country? Are we bound by the world? And in all this, among all this bondage, we will experience that inner freedom, that inner happiness, which is possible through the holistic science. Next please. So, individually as well as collectively, this holistic science can do welfare of the nature as a whole as holistic. This is because when human race lives in a balanced way, the entire nature becomes balanced. So we have to understand the importance and responsibility what we have being humans. Next please. We will talk briefly about the inner world and the outer world. What we see outside is only the physical body, but inside there are so many faculties which are functioning naturally, and that's how, if those things are corrected from inside, they will correct our outside, that is our physics, our outside interactions, so our outside world. And we'll take that in detail afterwards. Holistic revelation about speech is wonderful. Speech is a tape record. So when I talk something, I should not claim that as a tape record. It's very important. But when others speak to me, I should consider that as tape record meant for my listening only. You understand that?
No,
So
not
I will
really.
not have any problem.
No, I didn't.
When others talk to me, speak to me, it is tape record for me, meant for my listening. I may not like it, I may like it, but this was what I had given. So I learned to listen to that, accept as it is, because it's a recorded tape meant for my listening. Otherwise it will not hit my ears. And when it is hitting my ears, it is meant for me. So I should learn to accept that. That is the...
But why other way around is not true? When
Okay,
I am telling something.
okay, let us say it that way. I speak something, you get hurt.
Right,
And if I say that as tape record, am I going to correct myself?
there you, thank you.
And if I don't correct myself, this is what I have given, I'm going to get it back. And when I get it back, I won't like it.
Right,
So I better change. So don't accept what you say as tape record.
thank you.
The next please. Meaning is the functioning of the inner self. Another holistic revelation. The world is nothing but instrument and instrumentality aspects that runs the world. So it's like situations come across, I get affected because of the causes inside. I'll give a very gross example. We go to the hospital, people say never visit hospital, even if you can find an excuse not to go to an hospital, better do that. Am I right? Doctors say that. Why? Because there is every possibility you might catch some infection and you will fall sick. So you better try to avoid. So when the person come home, see them at home. Very important. Now, there are so many people who visit, there are people who work in the hospitals. They don't fall sick. Then why someone like me just go to visit someone, I fall sick, I catch some infection, and I blame the hospital, I blame people. Where is the problem? Truly the problem is within me. People will say that, oh, you have less immunity and all that stuff, and that's why you caught the infection. No. The causes were there within me that made me fall sick of that infection. There are infections all around. There are infections all around. But they cannot catch me unless there is something wrong within me. So I need to correct. So if I correct this world, the outside world, my reflection will always be perfect. Okay, next please. A novel and scientific approach of holistic science for inner transformation. The moment you decide, just imagine, whoever who have come here today made a firm, clear decision, I want to attend this seminar. That's why you are here. That was the primary force that brought you here. Other circumstances just came together and you are here. But if you would have decided, no, I don't want to attend this, you would not have been here. So I'm just giving you a very common and simple example which is right in front of us, that whatever you decide, things happen eventually. So don't be clear in your conscience about your decisions. So one of the decisions what Shailesh Vakil said in his presentation, that I don't want to hurt anybody through my speech, action and thoughts. If I make a decision like that, although it looks very simple, what's so great in it? No, that's the primary decision. If I have that decision within me, I will never come across anybody hurting me. And if still I come across that, that is somewhere I land in my decision. Somewhere I have not corrected myself, that's why this is happening to me. So, next please. Okay. We are trying to understand now the holistic scientist, how he lives his life with total mindfulness about thoughts, about speech, about action. Excuse me. Now, we will try to understand specifically about our speech, because speech, words play a vital role. Words are like sword. They can cut people into pieces without moving anything physically. So, what he has said, we just roll ourselves among people and we watch what others are telling me. So that is what I am supposed to deal with, and whatever comes out from here, I keep an eye on that and see whether it is right or wrong, and I keep correcting myself. So if it is wrong, if it hurts anyone, it is my duty that I correct myself. Others are only instrument, the instrumentality aspect is lies within me, which is making me speak like that. If I don't have that instrument, those words will not come out. I won't get that opportunity to listen to my stuff which was inside, which was latent inside. But the instrument outside took it out. So it becomes my duty to listen to myself. That is the highest level of divinity. It will lead us to that divine state. Because it gives me a wonderful opportunity to correct myself. Okay, next please. See, here it is. You are the audience, listeners. Speech is the original tape record, and I remain pursuer of the spoken speech. Wherever there is any mistake, I correct it on the spot. I cannot recollect what I spoke yesterday or a month back. It is not possible. It is not in anybody's capacity. So it's like you see, you watch, and correct yourself on the spot. That's the only way of correction. Next please. Here is a wonderful revelation again. I with my, what it means, I with ownership is a wandering state. And I without any kind of ownership is the Godhood state. So when we free ourselves from all kind of ownership, we will experience that divinity as God that I am. Then there won't be any need to love the God, because everyone loves himself. But when I see and experience the divinity within me, which is there in everyone, then that feeling of oneness will come naturally. So here lies the center core of this holistic science. Know thyself, know who you are, who am I. Next please. How does the holistic scientist live his life? He's egonist, he's the most compassionate person. Why? Because he has known the science of life, why somebody helped me, why somebody hurt me. And he's a non-doer. He's a natural person around, living all naturally, because he experiences that godliness within him, and he sees that godliness in everyone. So he has no problem. So whatever happiness that comes from outside, he knows that it was given by me, I got it back. So I don't have to feel very good about it. means he won't feel bad about it, but at least he won't have that feeling of high. And at other times, if someone is hurting him, he won't feel low because he says, I got what I had given. So now he has given me that opportunity to correct myself. Somewhere previously in my life, I had committed that mistake. He is giving me that opportunity to correct. I better correct myself. So now I will not hurt anybody like that, that somebody in future become instrument for my unhappiness, for my suffering. Okay, next please. Because he has freed himself from all different kind of opinion. He sees things as it is. We can know anything from him. If we want to know anything about anything, we can, about living and freedom. That's why he is considered the world observatory. World observatory means he is totally impartial. And when we are impartial, then only we can observe things as it is. He is in a fully enlightened inner state, and in that enlightenment, he sees himself in everyone. So he has no problem with anyone. Next, please. This is all what we talked about. Next, please. Okay. The only way we may talk about who am I, we may read about who am I, we may practice things around, but that knowledge of myself can only be known from someone who has known and experienced that. That is only through a living holistic scientist who can bless us with our knowledge of ourselves. And we should seek and look around for that living master. Although he is a master, but he says, I am subservient to all, to every living being. That is his utter humility with which he lives his life, and that's how we can benefit it from him. Next, please. Okay, next. These are all. Egoism is born. We feel that individuals born. No, it is egoism that gets born, and it is egoism that dies. So, in your song, I think the face of the God. So, what are all these manifestations? They are nothing but manifestation of God. But we are not able to see that. So, we need to have that vision. So, what is this? Nothing but expression of ego. Expression of what they have projected. And if the projection changes, the individual will change. And that's how the holistic science teaches us to become perfect. Okay. Next, please. Oh. Why the pure soul is identified and said as pure soul? Because it is with ideal purity, it never gets bad. And it is perpetual in nature. So when we know and realize and experience that pure soul as I am, then I will experience the divinity within me, and because that soul lies in everyone, I will experience the same divinity in all. And whatever interactional good or bad thing that happens, it is out of my weird projections only. So I will learn to settle all those things and come out of it. Next, please. So, whatever we talked about, it was in relation to these great two masters who lived their life with utter humility, who is living his life with utter humility, the present holistic scientist of today. Next, please. He was the founder one we call as Nada Bhagwan, Mr. A.M. Patel. And the next, please. Next, he is the present day holistic scientist. It's very difficult because today we don't have any picture of Jesus Christ. We don't have any picture of Lord Krishna. We don't have any picture of Lord Mahavira. But we have one that even if you just think of this person, and this is the experience of everyone who have met him, who have got this opportunity to have themselves realized through him. They know that you just think of him, think of that picture only. Whatever you do, you will definitely succeed. And next please. That's it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mark.
All right, thank you very much, everybody. We're going to take a brief 5-minute break. Feel free to grab some water, and feel free to turn in those blue sheets over there to Mr. Bistry over there. And yes, feel free to stretch out and get some water. Thank you.